Welcome to game two of the Prime Meta League, week 5. Up next, we got Murder Crows Run It Down. I'm GraphTheory. I'm joined by Ackolyte. How are you doing this fine evening?
Fantastic today, my friend. I'm looking forward to another good game. A great storyline tonight. Murder of Crows, Run It Down. Both haven't really gotten their feet going in the league yet. One of these teams tonight is going to get their first win. I'm excited to see that. How about you, my friend?
I am very excited. Both these teams desperately looking for that first win. There's a 50-50 shot if you're a coin flip kind of guy. Uh, One of these teams is gonna get that win they've just been so desperately looking for, and provide some much relief and morale for these teams who have no doubt been beaten up the past few weeks.
I do recall at the very beginning of the year, Murder of Crows, or the beginning of the season, I should say. Murder of Crows did not have a full roster ready to go. They had a sub jungler, and they took Sock Puppet Robio, who is now, it looks like, our league leaders, to a very long game. And they haven't really found that consistency since then. But I mean, at week 5, hopefully they're starting to pick up some kind of momentum. As we see bands going back and forth, Echo, Thresh, and Poppy from Murder of Crows Run It Down,
Yeah.
banning kind of the more control-oriented stuff as in the Orianna, Varus, and the Nami.
Yeah, these are really fast bands too. I don't know about you, but I'm kind of used to more slower dress. I don't know if they're doing that just because of us and making sure that the fans at home are kept entertained and not delayed. But ooh, that's Murder of Crows locking in the Nocturne. I was just saying off stream before we hopped in that Murder of Crows, their main jungler, excluding that substitution in that first game of the season, they've been locking in Xinjiao every single game. So this is the first deviation and might just be what they need to get their first win of the season.
Yeah, Zen or Nocturne looking for that level 6 gank, usually power farms until he can get there. Usually it pairs extremely well with the Orianna, which is banned. We'll see if they pair it with some other global, maybe a Twisted Fate, maybe a Galio. We still have a lot of draft to come, but Nocturne looking to get to that level 6. He'll turn on around 7 to 8 minutes into the game. But Jarvan, as soon as he takes that first camp, he is online and ready to gank. So we see some early game coming out from the Caitlyn Jarvan from Run It
Yeah.
Down.
Yeah, that Caitlyn pick, I think, signals to me that they want to have a really strong presence in the bot lane. So I wouldn't be surprised if right off the rip we see the Jarvan making moves to split the map um, down the mid lane and really overload the bottom side with everything they've got. But it's answered by, oh, I was going to say a Karma, which would be nice to have for that peel and shield. But no, it's going to be full blow Lux.
And that could be used to take away from the Caitlyn as well. Caitlyn Lux, an extremely poke oriented, push oriented,
Yeah, that sounds like hell.
very oppressive bot lane. Yeah, it's awful. I mean, usually when you pick the Kai'Sa, you pair it with something, like a Rel or like a Nautilus, so that way you can enable the Kai'Sa ult from far away.
Oh
But I mean,
no.
maybe that's where the Nocturne comes from. Oh, and here's the Nico.
The Deco, that is going to be a really, really oppressive bot lane. I usually play jungle. I do have myself I just call it a Nico wall at this point because I've been playing her support, playing her mid. And one of my favorite pairings in the bot lane is Caitlyn because you can disguise as Caitlyn and you get that insane range that Caitlyn has level 1. And it's so oppressive with those E's and Caitlyn autos.
Yeah, definitely. And the lockup is really crazy as well with the pop blossom, with the root. Can definitely chain it with some cupcakes and get some mega damage. That range is going to be so hard for Kaisa to play into. Definitely going to be struggling under that tower to get the CS.
Yeah, this is really tough because this comp coming out of Run It Down is super carnivore dive heavy. I'm interested to see how Murder Crows plays into that draft wise because you have the Nocturne. Like you ideally you kind of want to go in on the Nocturnal. You want to press the button. You want to decide when to go. But I'm looking at Run It Down and they've got the same, if not more, buttons along those lines.
Yeah, bans coming, top lane bans both sides. Mbessa, Rumble, Mordekaiser as a hen. Not too sure if those are targeted or what they're playing. Usually when you're banning out, especially in the second rotation, you're trying to ban away things that are going to shut down your team comp. But these seem player specific.
Yeah, Ooh, that's interesting. The Pantheon. This is
Yeah.
this is gonna be an explosive game. I could see it. You got the Galio ult, the Nocturne ult, the Pantheon ult, and the Jarvan and Nico and LeBlanc flying around everywhere. Like this is gonna be crazy, crazy stuff. I feel bad for the observer. Shout out to you, Cows. You're gonna need it, man. This is gonna be a rough game to swap through.
Yeah, this
Oh
dive is
man.
insane. I mean, blind picking a Pantheon top lane
Oh
is
my
pretty quality,
god.
answered with the rock solid man himself, Malphite.
Okay, so in this game, it's just going to be about what team presses R in the best way that works for them. I mean, I guess you could say that about every champion, but like, come on, look at this, man. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 show-stopping ults. Nocturne, Pantheon, Galio, like those are pretty much global. Uh Jarvan, if he's in there, Nico, high mobility, Malphite. Oh man, such great answers to this comp here. It's
And there's no blink. Like there's no blink, there's no instant dash for them to get out of the Malphite ult. Just everyone is so susceptible from the Murderer of Crows to just get unstoppable forced on right away. I mean, also looking at the LeBlanc, should be able to blow up some of the carries such as the Kaisa and the Lux. I mean, even the Pantheon, if he doesn't get his shield up enough, and LeBlanc focuses on detonating that sigil of silence or the sigil of burst. I don't remember what sigil it is. But using the W to detonate that on top of the Galio, and Galio may be able to get the taunt off pretty fast, but he's not going to be able to hold it long enough to make it a really meaningful taunt. So the LeBlanc's going to make his life pretty miserable at the beginning if he's not able to get the push right away.
so So what do we think? So bot lane, I think we're both agreed that the run it down side is definitely going to have the stronger laning phase here. We talked about mid a
Definitely.
little bit, and in the top lane, I'm assuming we've got the Pantheon into Malphite. This Pantheon should be able to bully this Malphite around a little bit, but I would expect once he gets 6, you're not going to be seeing much of that Pantheon top lane other than to catch that odd stray wave before making a play.
Yeah, once Malphite gets past the point of no return when it comes to tankiness, he should be able to out tank the damage and to respond with the damage of his own. So I'm just seeing 3 wins across the board for me for Run It Down at the beginning of the draft, but it all just depends on how they combo these abilities together, who pushes their buttons the best way and the fastest way and the correct combination of ways, and are they going to be able to drag each other across the map, take advantage of that vision, because Nocturne has a longer range ultimate, Pantheon has the longer range ultimate. He can start the fight before Run It Down can. The problem is he going to be able to finish the fight before
Yeah.
Run It Down can run it back in their face?
There's so much potential on Run It Down's comp to answer that Nocturne ult. Like it's just everybody. The image that I have in my head is that everybody has their finger on the big red button, the big nukes. Everyone's got a nuke, and it's just who's gonna press it first, who's gonna be the last man standing. Because man, I don't know how you can play either of these comps and be vegan about it. It's going
Definitely.
to be bloody.
Yeah, I think they're both itching to pull the trigger. I don't think any of these guys are going to be pulling punches when it comes to it. They're probably so desperate for that win that they'll take any fight that they can get. And not every fight's a good fight, but we like the sloppy ones. Those are the kind of games that we like to see.
Well, it isn't the Prime Meta League for nothing. Uh, we do love those crazy, crazy fights, and then I'm so glad we agree that you do most of the play by play this game because this game is gonna be a hell of a torrent for you to try to cast.
Bring it on. I've had my sugar.
That's
We're ready to
good.
make
That's
this
good.
happen.
What was the delivery vehicle on that? What you eating?
Oh,
We
just
got
a
about
Rice
a
Krispie treat.
Rice Krispie. Man, I love those things. We got about a minute before the game starts. We're waiting for the spectator delay. Uh,
Yeah, I was really surprised to see them show the Lux support in the first rotation. because I saw them hover the Karma, and when I saw that, I said, okay, yeah, Karma might work. That's something that you're trying to. You got shield, you got a little bit of speed up. Maybe they're a little afraid of. I mean, Lux doesn't answer the problem of Jarvan getting on top of him. It's mainly Lux is kind of that long range engage with the snare, so that way Kaisa can kind of follow up and get the ISO damage. Maybe also help a little bit with the damage as well, but I mean, it's not like they're hurting from damage across their team comp. It's just like I don't see outside of the Kaisa really consistent DPS. It's all about getting on top of the carries.
Yeah, if I go back to my, everybody has an ICBM analogy, it's like, it would have made sense if one side built, the super heavy engage comp, and then the other had sort of, the more measured, play safe, scale, win that way. It felt like with that Karma switch, it was like somebody said, no, screw it. They they want to proliferate. We're gonna proliferate. Just everybody has nukes. Everybody has buttons to press. It's gonna be one of
All right,
those games.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are on the Rift. Murder of Crows on blue side. Run It Down Esports on red side. And we're starting out with a little bit of a standard spot, just doing a little bit of scouting early on, trading a little bit of damage back and forth, but nothing too crazy right away. Electrocute proc very early from the LeBlanc. Nocturne is here to cover. W is not up for LeBlanc for quite a while. That is a little bit of a long cooldown at level 1, but we're just trading damage back and forth, just letting them know we're ready to brawl.
Yeah, a little bit of a chunk, and both junglers here starting on the Raptors. I'd be curious to see what this Jarvan does, because typically when a Jarvan does a Raptor start, it's because he wants the 3-camp gank. Whereas when the Nocturne does it, he just wants to get, that 8-camp clear going and reaches level 6 a bit faster. So it'll be
just
interesting.
cycle through those camps.
Yeah,
So cycle through them as fast as possible.
Yeah, so it's interesting to see if the motivation is different. The outcome is the same. We'll see.
And I mean, early on, Galio just taking heavy damage from the LeBlanc, just trying to push and get that CS in. It's going to be that way for quite a bit. Opting for the Doran shield start. Doran's often seen as the worst item to start with, but he needs that survivability to keep his HP top it off and to stop that LeBlanc from snowballing out of control.
Yeah, I will say I hadn't checked runes. It is first strike Malphite, so yeah, that Doran shield is going to be needed because you can't avoid that first strike damage. Or excuse me, that's not that's Arcane Comment. My bad. In either case, super hard to dodge that Malphite Q when it comes in, the extra damage that comes along with it. That D shield.
Ooh, Root lands onto the Lux. There's the ignite. The heal is prepped. The extra auto attack gets first blood onto the Nico. And there's that hell we were talking about from the bot lane in the beginning.
Yeah, it didn't take long. Just over 2 minutes in the game, we get our first kill, and crashed Cannon Wave here. Feels really bad for Hacker Boy to farm this wave.
We kind of saw that coming too. Like they waited in the bush, and they got the first hit on the minion wave for the very first wave. So they were able to kind of get the push, because if you're not pushing as Kaisa, then you're going to just end up farming under tower, and it's going to be a bad time. But when the second wave came, they weren't able to get that push. They were zoned off the minions, and then it was just all over from there.
And I do want to point out, ahead of the junglers finishing up their respective clears and heading to opposite side scuttles, Benjamin Netanyahu on the Nocturne does know that the Jarvan is going to be on the bot side most likely, because earlier Sock put a ward on his red buff to spot that out.
Yeah, a little bit of a stutter right there. And we see them on opposite sides of the map right here. Nocturne
the same
looking...
idea.
Yeah, they're both waiting for something to happen.
Either that, or they're both going to steal each other's Raptors, because they know they did a Raptor start. Oh, no, here comes the big cheese himself.
Oh, uses the W to get back after the chains fall, and here comes the flag and drag combo. Jarvan's on top of him, has that red buff slow. Taunt from Galio is going to stop him off. Root onto Galio happens. The Aftershock proc might keep him alive, but not long enough, as LeBlanc takes down her second kill of the game.
This is a support diff, and as I say that, Flame looks like he might be going down. Nope, just a little bit of a barrier pop there. Ackolyte, you here with us, bud?
Oh, I think I'm here. Hello?
Your connection
Testing,
is a
testing.
yeah, we can kind of hear you. It's a little rough. You're cutting it in and out a little bit.
Oh, shoot. Testing, testing. I'll be right back. Take over
Okay.
for me for a
No,
little bit.
it's alrighty. All right. Well, here at the Prime Meta League, we don't mess around. The show goes on. We saw in the bot lane, bit of a skirmish here happen. As Fucking Death has to flash out from that damage coming out from Eamon. Eamon putting up a fight, 1v2ing. This is impressive stuff.
All right, I think I'm back. Can you hear me okay, GraphTheory?
Yeah, we can hear you. I think the stream's stuck on bot lane for a minute, though. Okay, there we go. We're cool.
Excellent.
Everything's good. Everything's good. Everything is fine. So a bit of a summary there.
All right, moving right along. I mean, mouse.
Yeah, I'll just recap for you. Flame had pop barrier as Eamon went to roam that mid lane play that we saw earlier when both junglers were looking at essentially ganking the mid. Flame had to back off, pop a barrier, and then after that, the Nico on Eamon. Eamon on Nico just kind of held the fort as Flame had to back and come back. 1v2'd, collected the wave. And everything's still in tip-top shape if you are run it down.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the Malphite too, Malphite's getting to that point where he's out-tanking the Pantheon damage as well, so making it really difficult for Pantheon to get anything going despite that first blood. And the ultimates are online. We'll see if we can see a roam. You can see how his wave is kind of frozen under the tower. Might be his chance to move and make a play happen off the map, but Run It Down is going to take Dragon, the first Dragon of the game. Cloud Drake, not too bad, but that still helps for the Dragon stacking element.
Yeah, Tattoo felt really confident pulling that dragon there because he had level 6 Benjamin Netanyahu on his second batch of Raptors. Couldn't get to 6 despite taking the second crab spawn because earlier in the last sequence, Tattoo actually took those Raptors without a trade of his own. So this Nocturne just now hitting level 6, maybe look for a play bot.
And Pantheon is just zoned off the wave so hard. This is a brutal freeze from Malphite.
Yeah, this is kind of rough. It feels bad when you lose the dragon and you don't get anything back. And then when you look at the opposite side of the map, your laner up there isn't doing that great either. It's not ideal. If you're this Nocturne, you kind of want to think... You feel really tempted to use this ult and put it on cooldown as fast as you can.
Yeah, and rushing is where things can go wrong sometimes. I mean, you really want to make that first ult count. But here comes the Pantheon over the top. Kai'Sa follows up with the ultimate as well, the Killer Instinct, but Nico is able to flash away to safety. I mean, flash or ultimate, not that bad of a trade, but they're wishing they got a little bit more.
Yeah, that felt a little clunky, a little uncoordinated. We saw some pings go out on the part of... I actually can't see who pinged that, but somebody on Murder of Crows was pinging that, and we saw Sockhorse, after taking it back, run down there. So I'm sure Sockhorse and Benjamin Netanyahu were talking to each other, say, hey, like, let's ult this. Let's get something here maybe, but didn't really pan out. Benjamin Netanyahu, Nocturne to be ultless as Tattoo pulls these grubs.
And the junglers see each other. Nocturne putting down his damage. The grubs are going back and forth. We see a smite from Nocturne, I think it was, takes one of them. And so far it's a 2v2, about to be a 3v2 as LeBlanc is looking for the flank. Unstoppable Force is available for the Malphite, and Nocturne's going to have to settle just for one as he walks away. Extraordinary
patience from Tattoo. I think a lesser jungler would have EQ'd out of there as soon as he saw the Galio, but he had the confidence that Gusty Giggle on Malphite was coming with his funny button. And was willing to press it if need be. And knowing that the Nocturne ult is down, he's seeding that first grub and not letting them have anything more once that smite comes out. Baited about as well as he could there.
Yeah, and I think knowing that LeBlanc was coming through the Raptor camp too was really good. I mean, Pantheon doing pretty well to trade some damage back into the minion wave. Nocturne ultimate is available, but Unstoppable Force could be used to get away. mean, it's chess. I'm playing checkers, they're playing
Oh,
chess, but
there's a
there it
funny
is.
button.
Yep, the Unstoppable Force does land. He flashes, but is not able to break the tether, and Nocturne is going to follow up. Is slowed
Oh
by the
my
Q. He's going to
god.
be able to land
Okay.
it. He does, and Netanyahu gets the return kill, and that is a kill for kill, 2 for 1. Not too bad for Run It Down. They do get the assist gold onto the Murder of Crows.
I am curious to see what, if anything, Tattoo does in the bot side to answer that, especially as this ult comes out of the Lux and she's looking mighty low.
Yeah, and we see the root land, the Cupcake not able to follow, but here's the Killer Instinct into the waiting arms of Jarvan the Fourth, and Tattooed Potato takes a kill for himself.
Yeah, that was... I feel like that had to have been... that was too obvious. A Hacker Boy, I don't know, bud. I don't think he can go in there. You know your jungler just showed top. You know that their jungler is going to be looking for a play on the other side of the map. You know your path in different directions. That's unfortunate.
I mean, with Lux being so low and with the ultimate on cooldown too, you got to think, that's quite a ballsy play going 2v1, trying to get onto the backline and get that kill.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, just waiting with open arms.
If it looks too good to be true, it probably is. I think this game, if you're not going to have all the fights happen at once, you have to be very diligent in counting who's got ult, who has the summoners, as we look into another skirmish here.
And it just feels so bad for Galio too, because he's not able to land any lasting CC. The LeBlanc is just way too mobile. And Pantheon is just getting smacked with rocks over and over again. It looks like the Scuttle Crab is going to go to Murder of Crows. The Dragon is available. A pretty substantial gold lead for this point of the game. 2,000 gold. But Pantheon is under tower. Malphite is tanking up. I think I've disconnected yet again. But
No,
Gusty
you're still
just
here.
giggles his way, laughs out of tower range with his kills.
Yeah,
And there's the solo bolo in the top lane.
Absolutely, and that's going to be answered by Benjamin Netanyahu running into the bot river, trying to get some chunks in before any team pulls this dragon.
And they just keep going forward and forward. We see the Flag and Dry combo lands. A huge Cataclysm just deletes Galio and Lux right away. Ace in the hole just does a little bit of damage to weaken him up. But that's a 7th kill of the game for Run It Down. And they're taking a commanding lead through this bot lane.
Yeah, and it's not... Yeah. And I do want to give credit where credit is due. You could... Oh...
Not done yet. There's the pop blossom, but here comes the Nocturne ultimate. He's able to get a kill back. Caitlyn trying to run away is nearsighted. Tattoo is close by with the Jarvan Flag and Dry combo. He flashes, he EQs forward, does not land, gets the slow, and a huge damage prop. I did not expect that amount of damage to come out of him. And Nocturne steps forward, but here comes the Pantheon ultimate. The Grand Starfall lands. He's going to fall up for one, maybe not, as here comes the teleport. LeBlanc, or no, Malphite's ready to play. Has that huge shield.
Big shield.
And just stares at him menacingly and then walks away.
Menacingly, and it is worth noting that in about 10 seconds, that menacing stare actually has some bite to back it up, as that Malphite ult is online, right? Meow.
Yeah, and he's just going to walk his merry way up there. Uses the teleport to keep his carry alive, so they're able to recall safely. Not able to get a kill out of it, which is kind of unfortunate, but he just goes right back to doing what he's doing in the top lane.
Yeah, he doesn't really lose much for it. And I will say, the last time I looked at this top lane CS, it was a 2-1 lead for the Malphite. So this Pantheon picked up some minions that this Malphite did. So evened it a bit up in that respect there.
I mean, we talked a little bit earlier, too, about how Murdering Crows has to engage, and we think they have to engage and take the fight before it's done, as Malphite just runs down Pantheon yet again. But we didn't talk about how if Run It Down starts the fight, if they're the first ones to answer the fight and to make it happen, if they take too long, they're susceptible to the counter-engage from those semi-global ultimates of the Nocturne, of the Pantheon, of the Galio. So then it kind of just becomes a race of survivability. Who can survive long enough for the reinforcements to come?
Right? Or the other way to look at it is how fast can you get in and get out, right? So both these teams, I
Exactly.
think, thinking along both those perspectives at different points in this game. And here down bot, we just have another nice little wave crash here. I'm
And
keeping.
well done to Kaisa for keeping that CS up so high.
Yeah, it's been certainly an impressive lane, and to be ahead CS, even just 3 is really strong performance. And I am keeping special tension. I think we might see the paranoia come out.
They're just waiting for that overextend yet again, as Malphite just does a drive-by Q, lands the Arcane Comet and the poke. Here's the Unstoppable Force, gets all the damage done before the tower can do anything. No Jarvan to be seen, maybe spotted on the top side, but Nocturne forced to walk over a ward. He is going to look maybe for a little bit of counter jungling, but another solo kill from the big rock man in the top.
Yeah, that's all you can do, because at that time that Benjamin Netanyahu on Nocturne was looking at that bot gank, Tattoo on Jarvan was clearing his blue buff, and Malphite was killing Sackhorse up in the top lane. So you know that, hey, this Nocturne's not up here. So process of elimination, he's on the bottom side of the map, probably telling his guys, hey, don't be too cocky, because this Nocturne's just itching to press R on you.
And big damage landing yet again onto the Kaisa, just permanently below half HP with all the poke. But we see the big wraparound flank. Here we go. Paranoia lands onto Caitlyn. Barrier is popped. Is it going to keep alive long enough? Here comes the Pop Blossom, the final spark, and Nocturne gets a kill. Killer Instinct follows up, but Jarvan is here to assist on the way out. Are they going to be able to turn around fast enough? Murder of Crows may have overextended a little bit too far. As here comes LeBlanc on the backside looking for the assassination attempt. Nico gets a root to keep themselves alive, and Jarvan wants a little bit more. Here comes LeBlanc, forcing the flash out of the carries, goes back to the clone, and it's just a slugfest in the bot lane so far. 1 for 1 as abilities are just traded back and forth. Big damage onto the Galio is one of the characters is recalling. Knight goes on a killing spree, gets the damage from the distortion, and then goes back to the clone after the tower aggro drops. And meanwhile, Pantheon in the top side gets smacked to death by another rock. We see another dash forward, combo forward. The chain's gonna land, the auto attack secures it, and LeBlanc is on a rampage. 4-0-3 for the mid laner, run it down.
What a massive fight. I mean, I feel like I aged 10 years off that fight. There's so much going on there, so much layering, call and responses in that fight on both ends, where it was looking kind of ropey, but both teams really slugging it out, and at the end run it down, able to pop that rift, get that tower, have a nice clean reset, and look to deathball towards this dragon. In doing so, they have a 6,000 to 7,000 gold lead on the board. It looks like you're just looking at this moment in the game, looks like they want the win more.
And it didn't look like it would have been too bad as the chain lands onto the Kaisa. Kaisa able to dash away, or at least just be able to speed away, I guess I should say. But we see some plays looking to happen on the top side. Nocturne gets behind as the dragon is going to eventually fall for Run It Down. They take their third dragon of the game, and they are on soul point.
Yeah, this is not a great position to be in as Crows here. You have some scaling in that. Well, I guess that's not really scaling if you have to get a lot of kills to get strong. But this Nocturne is coming up on level 12, 2 items. That's about as powerful as you're going to get. Your Pantheon is very the power curve is very front levered, and this Galio is more providing utility. So if you don't do something here soon, I'd be worried, just simply looking at a composition perspective, that you're going to be falling behind. Meanwhile, this Caitlyn, I do think, is well poised to dominate the later this game goes on.
Definitely. Oh, we see big damage from Amen as the Grand Soulfall lands on the back line. I'm knocked up just a little bit, but they're able to get a kill back. Hacker Boy gets their second kill again. They're going even. Hextate just or Hex Gate just barely able to let LeBlanc get out. And not
Such
too
a
bad of a
one-for-one
return.
there. Oh my god.
LeBlanc moving forward. Yeah, Galio is able to use the hero chance to save Harry from the LeBlanc burst. LeBlanc able to get away before the entrance lands. And just
Meanwhile,
limping away with a sliver of HP is the Lux.
Meanwhile, it's hard to imagine that tower does not go down. Yeah.
Not at all. They move forward. They try to get some damage down onto the carry. Final spark does not land. The layered CC sees Kaisa just pop like a zit. The flag and drag combo sees Galio fall down. A triple kill for Jarvan the fourth. And that, they're going to Baron at 20
They're going
minutes.
straight to Baron. Yeah, that's, I mean, there's really nothing else. Nothing else to it. When you kill 3 on the map like that, and the Baron's up, you just pull the trigger and do it, especially when you have Nico ult on your side. What's Nocturne gonna do? Try to ult ya?
Exactly.
Fat chance.
And that's kind of like that's kind of the problem that we see too with the team comp is they want to dive, but look at what they have to dive through. They have to dive through a Cataclysm. They have to dive through a Pot Blossom. They have to dive through Cupcakes. As Lux is able to get some pretty significant damage on tonight, but they're just going to be able to, limp away, Baron recall, and they'll be back out stronger than ever after spending that money. Sitting on 2 large rods, that's a death cap pretty soon.
Yeah, extremely clean games from the jungler and mid laner on Run It Down, both rocking 600 gold bounties apiece. I think if you're Fog of Death there, getting that root into that ult combo felt a little good. Get that chunk, maybe try to fish a shutdown out of this LeBlanc, but I don't know. Knight's looking really good on this LeBlanc.
Yeah.
Have we seen LeBlanc play it in a game? Like, oh.
I haven't too much as the Paranoia comes out. The damage Final Spark is going to miss, but the Sock Horse follows through with the Grand Starfall, gets a kill as it is answered back. Benjamin Netanyahu does fall to the Nico.
There's so much counter engage. It's crazy. Every 30 seconds we see this happen over and over again. Somebody presses a button, then someone presses theirs, and it's just constant escalation until somebody walks out with some hurt feelings.
And it's from 3 screens away most of the time.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Cal's MVP producer has his head on a swivel, zooming all the way out so he can see as much as he can.
Yeah, you have to. You have to get to the point where the map is barely visible because there's just so much mobility in the... Well, I guess not, not millions of dashes type of mobility, but just these globals and the potential for these characters to just travel the map, especially with these hex gates up. I mean, just everyone's going to be zooming around the map.
Yeah, big damage lands onto the Malphite from the Lux. Does have enough tower, or I guess I should say armor, to tank those tower shots. Knight forced to flash away, though, from the Nocturne. Not going to be chained up. But here comes the Flag and Drag combo. Nocturne flashes forward to get onto the LeBlanc. Uses the Paranoia to get over the edge to the clone. And Galio was just in the middle of everyone awaiting a slow and painful death. Amin takes his kill as well. That's a 2 for 0 for Run It Down. As they run it down the bot lane, Lux is there as the only symbol of hope. They turn their sights onto the dragon. They want that dragon soul. 24 minutes into the game, and now it's just a matter of time until that Nexus falls.
This is such a crazy game. I mean, it's just,
It's a slow, agonizing death. Like right here, this is basically a metaphor for how this game is going for Pantheon.
Oh!
Donated to Flame.
Okay. I thought he was just being toxic. I thought Gusty was just memeing on Sock Horse, but no, there was actually a method to that madness. And
yeah, we see the Pot Blossom, Hextech Proto Belt. Flame gets the 3rd kill of the game. Back to positive KD. But yeah, like you said, I thought it was just toxic too, just letting him die to a Sunfire cape or something. But it makes sense to donate your kill. But here's the tower dive, the Flag and Drag combo into the Unstoppable Force. Flame gets the last tip, or the last tick of damage. Galio goes into the middle of all of them, is trying to get the taunt to draw some tower aggro, but he is not that tanky. Is just getting shredded apart by the rest of them. EQ combo is coming soon, and it's buffered.
That looked
the E
weird.
does not have enough distance to get away. Yeah, Galio has to use his E backwards a little bit to get going, but Jarvan just goes through yet again. The root from Nico does land. Pantheon survives just long enough. The last tower shot is Zonya'd, and Amir stays alive. And Socks, the run it down or running it down the mid and top lane. They only have 3 people to go through. Final spark damage, forcing 2 flashes out, a flash or a jump, I should say. And they think it's a little bit too dicey. They're going to go spend their hard-earned cash. Here comes the paranoia onto Flame. A little bit of payback for that ace in the hole earlier.
I can't stop laughing. This game is so bloody, so back and forth, but yet so one-sided at the same time. I don't think we've seen a game like this in the Prime Meta League this season, if not last season too. I mean,
yeah, if you hang around too long, you're gonna get punished.
I mean, the
and then one team just got punished a lot more. Yeah, it's definitely a fun game to watch.
We have a chat message that I want to highlight. Somehow this game will end in a draw. You know, with the way these 2 teams are playing, and just like every engage, it's like it feels like one side just says fuck it, and then the other one's just like, yeah, fuck it, and then it's just who could fuck it more, you know? Just coin flip. I call them the burger flips. Burger flip after burger flip. So there's a chance, especially with these bounties.
Knight almost getting caught out. Gets hit by the Grand Starfall of Pantheon, and they may be memeing just a little bit too hard. Paranoia coming to follow up. But Benjamin Netanyahu goes a little bit too far yet again. Pantheon getting on top of the carries, trying to take down the Nico. But Jarvan goes legendary. They set their eyes on Baron yet again. Malphite just reigning supreme on the bot lane, just, you know, sneering with his split push.
Things you'll never hear on an LCS stream. Benjamin Netanyahu has gone too far. Oh man, and Barrett is claimed by Run It Down as they look to run it down, but in the way you wouldn't expect from their name. Looks like they're not even
exactly.
Back.
Yeah, like you said, don't even back. Just go straight back onto the map. Pantheon still has a little bit on his death timer, but here comes the teleport. It's a 4-0-1 split push as they take the top. They're going on their way down. We see some fights going on the bot lane, but they're bringing in their Baron-powered super minions through the middle. Kaisa not able to land any kind of poke, and Malphite is now going onto the AP carry. Doesn't matter if he's anti-damage, he's anti-everything. Dashes forward. Here's the unstoppable force on the 3. Flag and drag combo lands on the more. Killer instinct from the Kaisa is popped to get out early. And Run It Down is just able to pick them off one by one. They pick fights in multiple different directions. We see Caitlyn falls to the Pantheon. There goes the DPS. Is there enough to have them in the game? They're moving backwards. Jarvan stays alive. Knight dashes forward, dashes back, and gets hit with the other turret shot. Is he going to be able to survive? Guardian Angel pops from the Jarvan. It's a 1v1 in this lane. Flag and drag goes out as Jarvan's going to stay alive, and that's a 4-for-4 bloodbath on top of the Murder of Crows Nexus.
That's it. This game ends in a draw. Shout out to King Rolly 10. He called it. But it is really hard. Is this Nico just going to end? No. Yeah,
Nico's just going to end this, I think. Oh, maybe not. Death timers come right out. It's got to be the next push. It has to.
It is a little bit tricky. I was a little. So we saw the bounties get cleared. We saw shutdowns on the Malphite and the LeBlanc. But this gold lead that I'm looking at is still kind of crazy. I guess I expected more for in reward of being able to repel that final siege. Maybe we'll see some more money get into the hands of the Crows as they farm minions at their base, but
I think it just might have been that much worse before the fight happens, which makes it even that much
Yeah.
more impressive. Support goes 1 for 1 so far. Killer Instinct gets a
Oh,
shutdown onto the Kaisa, so it's still 4 for 4 minus the supports. Here's the Unstoppable Force onto 2. Hero's
but
entrance
Elder's up.
is going up as Jarvan's on the back line. Jungle v Jungle, support v support, team versus team, and Caitlyn's lethal tempo is stacked. Nets forward, going to the Pantheon, and the Spartan has fallen. This is not Sparta. This is Summoner's Rift, and Run It Down takes the Nexus for their first win of the season.
0-3 to 1-3. That win. And I gotta say, when you win a game like that, when the game is so volatile, like if we were talking up the the pregame saying, hey, whichever team wins this, it's gonna put a lot of wind in their sails, hopefully, to have a win like this. I feel like it
Mm-hmm.
has to.
Yeah, solid. I mean, they were able to kind of get a little loose at the end. They had the freedom to make those mistakes that you can't make when you're at the top of the season. They were allowed to get a little bit sloppy, but they earned the right to be sloppy with that early game and with the draft. They drafted 3 winning lanes. They were able to shut down the Pantheon with the Malphite, shut down the Galio with the LeBlanc. They just had all of the answers for their early game, and Murder of Crows were just never able to get going.
Yeah. It was such an explosive game. I wish it was a little bit closer, but man, was it entertaining. Probably my favorite game to watch to date of the Prime Meta League Season 2. Do you have any other closing thoughts before we hand it off to the next crew for Game 3?
I can just say I thoroughly enjoyed myself. We've seen the top of the mountain, we've seen the lows of the valley. We're going to see the middle of the table in our next match. And I can't wait to join our viewers as we spectate and
Oh,
just enjoy ourselves.